Mandi's Christmas Throwdown. Beef Pilau take 10. Tail sleep.
I'm really loving the response on the fact that the Kenyan Christmas Throwdowns are back, and you guys showed a lot of love to my Viazi Karai video, so I gotta say thank you to that. We are on to the next episode where we're gonna be finding out which one is more superior, beef biryani or beef pilau. And in this episode, I'm gonna head to partner with Sunrice to show you how their rice performs under heat. Okay, one thing we gotta do is protect the drip at all costs. So, of course, we gotta wear our apron. And we need to find out if this rice is gonna rise to the moment. But first, we're gonna start things off by boiling our meat. And we're gonna be adding in some ginger and garlic into it as well. So let's just get our pot nice and hot and get on and popping. Now, as our meat is boiling, we're gonna be going to go ahead and add in half a tablespoon of ginger and garlic paste, and that is just gonna boil together. While the meat has been boiling, I laid out all my other ingredients. We have some onion right here, we have some sea salt, some ginger and garlic paste. We have the whole pilau masala, that's what I usually use, and then I ground it with a blender. I've showed you guys this trick before. And I also have my potato. These are about 2 potatoes, peeled, diced. And now that our meat is done, it's been about 25 minutes. The good thing is we have amazing broth that we're gonna be using, and at the same time too, we need to brown the meat first. So as we await for this to cool down, I'm just gonna go ahead and wash the rice first. Now, the good thing about Basmati rice, you never get anything wrong. A lot of you always ask me which brand of rice that I use. I swear by Sunrice. So I'm so glad they partnered with me. I'm gonna be using 1 cup of rice, which means you use 2 cups of water. I've walked you guys through this before plenty of times, so we're gonna go ahead and wash it. The best part is I'm gonna leave the rice soaking in water. This allows it to be fluffier when you cook it. In the meantime, as that gets fluffy, I'm just gonna take out the meat from in here. I also choose not to overboil my meat, mainly because nobody wants to eat overcooked meat. So I just boiled it until it was just tender. Again, I said I'm gonna be saving the soup. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna take back out the meat to make sure to brown it in here first, and to give it tons of flavor as well. I'm gonna go in with about a tablespoon probably of cooking oil. As you guys can see, my lipstick changed, but that's because the power went out last night, but the show must go on. So let's get back into this throwdown. Our meat has officially browned. We're just gonna be adding in some ginger and garlic paste into it to just, of course, give it some flavor. So I've gone in with like half a tablespoon. Now, one thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the meat in order to start building on the layers of the pilau. So in the same pot, we're just gonna be adding in our cooking oil. About another tablespoon, mainly because we have a lot of onion. We've turned up the heat. This will help the onions soften faster. We're gonna go in and add in our potatoes now that our onions have softened. Now, if you feel like the potatoes are not cooking enough oil, you can always just add in your oil. However, at this stage, we just intentionally just want them to brown. And we are definitely gonna go in with some of our pilau spice. heat is on like a medium-low. We're gonna go in with a little bit more spice, or pulao masala rather. And then we're gonna go in with our rice. Now that we've added in our rice, we're just gonna stir it in, make sure it catches onto the pulao masala. And if at this point you feel like it needs more, definitely that's what you go in with. So I'm definitely just gonna be adding in just a little bit more. We're also gonna go in with a pinch of salt as well. Remember the broth we had been saving? Well, we're gonna be using a cup of that. Now we're gonna go in with our other cup of water. And this is like one of my favorite parts. We're about to let the magic happen, let the rice do its thing. Rice doesn't really need a lot of fuss. Literally, if you stick to what I say, 1 cup of Sunrice Basmati rice, 2 cups of water. So we're gonna let the water boil until it's done, and then we're gonna dry it off. Right now the heat is on high. We've changanyad everything together. So at this point, don't be doing the most. Now that the water has pretty much done boiling, and there's nothing, you can see no water in the pot, we're just gonna add in back our meat. And then we're just gonna mix this all together. We're gonna turn down the heat to completely low, and then we're just gonna cover this, and it's gonna cook for about 25 minutes. Because this is a video that we're trying to find out which one is going head to head, beef biryani or beef pilau, I'm gonna set this aside in order for me to start on the biryani. Now it's time for us to make our beef biryani. I will say this, you always want to start with your beef stew, and you definitely want to marinate things overnight, and everything just goes into one bowl. If you do not want to make things dirty, even marinate it into the pot you're going to be cooking in. So in goes in our beef. This is about 1/2 kg. We're going to go in with some raw pawpaw. Yes, it looks like this, however it's raw, like it's not the ripe one, and we're only using half of it, that's grated. We're going to go in with 2 heaping tablespoons of tomato paste. We're also gonna go in with about a teaspoon of cardamom. We're gonna go in with a tablespoon and, okay, I'm just gonna go with everything. That's garam masala, 2 tablespoons. We're gonna go in with our ginger and garlic paste. Pinch of salt, or maybe 2. We're gonna also add in our tomatoes. This is 2 tomatoes. And then we're gonna go in with yogurt. All the measurements will be below for you guys. Now we're just gonna mix everything up together in here. We're gonna cover this and place it into the fridge. We had some beef that we had marinated overnight, so we're just gonna go ahead and, of course, take this off. A huge tip that a lot of you should know is you always gotta let your meat come to room temperature before you cook it, because nobody likes to cook cold meat. So we're just gonna add it into our pot. And because it needs about an hour to cook, we're just gonna set it aside. The rice is already ready, the pilau. We're just gonna move this aside. And we are gonna go in right here and place our beef stew onto this burner. We need to rinse this out with some water, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So this is probably about a cup. We're just gonna use like some of it. We're gonna turn on our burner and let the magic happen. Now, we're about to whip up our biryani rice. One thing that I want to say though is that I really love that Sunrice's Basmati is very versatile. You can pretty much make any type of rice you want with it, and I'm so glad we're about to make some biryani rice. So we've already washed it, and you guys already know that. We are just gonna go ahead and place it into our bowl. You guys already know the drill. 1 cup of rice is 2 cups of water. We're also gonna add in a pinch of salt. We're gonna add in a tablespoon of oil. And lastly, we're gonna be adding in our aromatics, which is about 8 cardamoms and 3 bay leaves. We're gonna go ahead and mix in our food coloring that we need to add into our biryani. We have 2 different colors. We have red and we have orange. You can of course add whatever color you prefer. Just don't go too crazy. I'm gonna mix this in with water. And now that our rice has dried, we're just gonna go ahead and prepare to add the food coloring into here. We're just gonna push aside the rice and pour in a little bit of that red coloring. And then of course we're gonna go in with our orange. We're not gonna put it in the same places. We're gonna turn down our heat to super low. And then we're just gonna go ahead and cover our rice to dry. It's gonna take about 25 minutes to get ready. And once we do so, we're about to chow down. All of our food is ready. That's like music to my ears. So first things first, let's serve up our beef pilau. And then we're just gonna stir in our rice first. Alternatively, you can take out the cardamoms if you're not a fan. However, I just like when people pick them out for themselves. And then lastly, we're gonna go in with our sauce. We've officially got into my favorite part where I'm just about to dig in. However, clearly we can see the Sunrice Basmati can stand to the test. The beef pilau looks absolutely amazing, and this is all about a sprint. Well, the beef biryani is all about a marathon. It needs tender love and care and overnight marination, okay? And I absolutely love the colors, the aromatics that are in there. It just looks flavorful, and that's what I usually go for. This Christmas, switch up how you throw things down with the rice that you have. Make sure you have yourself some Sunrice. You can grab it at your favorite leading supermarkets. And before I love and leave you, I want to say make sure you have that subscription button. Subscribe, sign in, okay? And if you do not have the notification bell on, do that. You don't want to miss another episode of the Kenyan Christmas Throwdowns. In the meantime, watch any tough Kijiko and act accordingly, but the true Swahili in me wants to just dig in with my hat.